to another episode of the Movie Brothers. I'm Ant. This is Kev.
Free at last, free at last. Thank God Almighty, we are free at last.
We have a great show once again lined up for you today. We are reviewing the movie 12 Years a Slave. This film is about the true story of Solomon Northup, who is a free black man who is kidnapped and sold into slavery.
Yeah. This movie was directed by Steve McQueen. You probably wouldn't know his work unless you lived in Great Britain because he is a British black filmmaker. Okay.
Yeah.
But he directed a lot of short films, and last year he had the critically acclaimed Shame, which also starred Michael Fassbender, who is one of the stars of this movie.
Yep. And this movie has an all-star cast. I mean, starting off, it has Chiwetel Ejiofor, who, you know, we know his work from Inside Man.
Right.
And he's just done a ton of work. We got Brad Pitt in this movie. We got Michael K. Williams in this movie, who we all know as Omar. Hey, yo! From the TV show The Wire from HBO. We even got a little Guinevere from Beast of the Southern Wild. She has a little cameo in this film.
Right.
But Benedict Cumberbatch, another British.
Benedict Cumberbatch does a great job in this movie, but we'll get to him in a minute also.
Yeah, but even more to name, but all-star cast. With that said, let's take a look at the trailer.
I was born a free man, lived with my family in New York,
Be good for your mother.
until the day I was deceived,
To Solomon.
kidnapped, sold into slavery.
Well, boy, how you feel now?
My name is Solomon Northup. I'm a free man, and you have no right whatsoever to detain me.
You're no free man. You're nothing but a Georgia runaway.
Oh, I was with my family in my home. Now you tell me all is lost.
If you want to survive, do and say as little as possible.
Well, I don't want to survive. I want to live.
All right, guys, I cannot emphasize to you enough that I love this time of year. We've talked about it before on this show. This is the year where all the Oscar heavy hitters start coming out, and this movie is really no exception. I thought this movie was a masterpiece, and I'm just going to tell it exactly how it is. I thought this movie was a masterpiece. It is bold, it is brave, it is beautifully shot, it is well acted. I would not be surprised to see both Steve McQueen and Chiwetel Ejiofor on the Oscar stage come March.
I hope we don't see Steve McQueen on any Oscar stage anywhere. I'm sorry, I cannot disagree with you more on this, Kev. I thought this movie was terrible. You know, we just mentioned this all-star cast, which, you know, I'll get the positives off first.
Okay.
Yes, the acting was very, very good. Okay. In terms of Steve McQueen's direction, the technical, the cinematography, yes, it was very well shot. But that's about all I had to say. You know, we mentioned this all-star cast, and y'all, I guess the best way I could put it is imagine taking the world's finest, the best cognac that you can find, and you make trash can punch with it. That's what this movie is
All
for
right,
me.
hold on. I think you're being way too hard on this movie. This movie was a painful adaptation, okay, of Solomon Northup's autobiography about his life.
Sure,
Okay. And it left no stone unturned. It covered every aspect of what it must have been like to be a free black man living in upstate New York and to be kidnapped, drugged, sold into slavery. And the next thing you know, you're spending the next 12 years of your life in the most demeaning, degrading fashion imaginable. Okay, this is a movie about slavery, and I know that you have an issue about those kinds of films.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, but this is a movie about slavery that we have never seen, because the thing is, it asks you to imagine yourself right now as you are as a free black man, and then to have that all ripped away from you, your family, okay, sent thousands of miles away, okay, to the deep dark South, all right, having to work the fields, having to do all this manual labor, being separated from your wife, from your children, from everything that you know. You can't even let the world know that you are an educated black man, okay? I felt this movie, and I know the audience that I was around, they all felt this movie. There wasn't a dry eye in this place once the movie closed, once it was over with. I don't want to dominate this review. I'll let you go on and say what you got to say next, so I can shoot it down afterwards.
Hey, you can go. You can attempt to do that. You can attempt to do that, but once again, I totally disagree with everything you just said.
Okay.
I did not need this film to give me any kind of inkling from just films that have been done in the past that have given their own interpretation of slavery. We have been there. We have done that in terms of seeing this on film. This was nothing new. It was almost like, the film is extremely, extremely graphic, like beyond reason, just graphically shot. And I think it was just very demeaning. Yeah, I had some feelings about it too. I was nauseated. At one point, I almost wanted to throw up in some of the scenes that was so graphic, and it was just unnecessary. And I'm kind of pissed at Hollywood because, I'm gonna throw this conspiracy thing on, but we got this nasty little trend. It's like in Hollywood, man, just has platinum balls, almost like diamond encrusted balls. To even, in my opinion, put some stuff like this out. But let's go back to 2011. Okay, we had The Help. Then we go to 2012. We had Django Unchained. All right, we keep going, and then we come into 2013. We had The Butler earlier this year. Now here we are, 12 Years a Slave. So let's talk about the trend that we have here. Hold on, let me finish. So servant, slave, servant, slave. I'm sorry. Black American history is much, much, much more broader than us being depicted as servants and slaves. Been there, done that. Tell me another story.
Okay,
Tell me another story.
I think the story has to start where it starts from a logical standpoint. Okay, that is what has colored our entire history as a people in this country. Okay, I don't have a problem with seeing these stories if they're done right. Okay, I don't have a problem seeing these stories if they're done by people who actually are affected by these stories. That's why The Help doesn't work to me. That's why Django Unchained is basically a comic book compared to this movie.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Make no mistake about that.
And I'm gonna be honest with you. What I like the most about this movie is its immediacy, its impact, the strength of will in which it conveys its story. This movie is, I'm telling you, it is a no holds barred assault on everything that you thought you knew about slavery. And I'm sorry, and this story has not been told effectively until this movie came out.
Solomon Northup's story has not been told, but again, the depiction of slavery and what our people went through that time period, I've seen it before.
Candy coated.
Oh man, no. Well, compared to this movie,
it's
like I said, this
candy-coated.
is the most graphic, just some of the most disgusting scenes I've ever seen in my life. It's almost like
Let me tell you something.
The director was determined to just make the worst possible scene. Yeah, so
and you know what that sounds like?
Stuff, it is candy.
You know what that sounds like to me? And you know what that sounds like to me, Ant?
What?
When people say that, when I was a kid, I saw The Diary of Anne Frank. And then when I grew up, I saw Steven Spielberg's Schindler's List. And then I got the real depiction of what it must have been like to live in concentration camps and live through the Holocaust and all of that. Okay? I'm sorry. Schindler's List opened people's eyes to what the Holocaust was really all about. Even though we'd had movies about the Holocaust before. Hold on, let me finish. All right. So we've got that situation, and when I heard that Steven Spielberg, who I'm a child of the 80s, so Spielberg was one of my heroes, okay? When Steven Spielberg signed up to direct Amistad, I thought, okay, we're gonna get the black Schindler's List. We're going to get a depiction of the African diaspora and the slave trade in a way that Steven Spielberg was able to convey the Holocaust, okay? But it didn't happen. That's one of the worst movies I've ever seen. Okay?
Yeah.
Coming from a master filmmaker like Steven Spielberg, this movie gets it right. It is told from the perspective of a black man, aimed for black people, and this is the type of film that our children need to see.
But
this is the type of movie that our children need to see.
So you're gonna take your kids to go see this movie?
No, not right now. But ultimately, this is the movie they need to see, because this is not what they're going to get in the textbook. This is not what they're going to discuss in the classroom.
There are better ways to educate our people in terms of slavery and what we went through beyond going to see 12 Years a Slave. Hey,
Well, there are better ways, but they're not happening. And is what is the point I'm
this
trying to
movie
make.
ain't the one to do it.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not.
Yes,
no,
it
it's
is.
not. And I have no problem going to revisit those time periods. But tell me something I don't know. Give me a compelling enough story to want to go back and visit that.
What
and
is
see
more
that
compelling
depicted.
than depicting yourself,
It just-
envisioning yourself free one day, living the life that Ant lives every day, and then the next minute being ripped away from your wife and your child and sent down south to work the cotton fields, okay, with
That's-
no hope of ever returning home? Tell me about
Once
something
again,
that's
I
more
don't need
compelling
that
than
movie
that.
to tell me that. I already know that story. I've already heard that story from my history, and I'm sure many of you have too. You
I
don't
don't
need
think
12
so.
years a slave.
I don't think so.
To
not
educate you
not
on
not
that.
in a society in which white kids, black kids feel free to walk around with impunity, dropping the N word in every rap song that they sing, where our kids don't even stand up for that anymore. They don't care. Okay, to them, slavery was a myth.
So in this
Civil
movie,
rights was a myth.
So in this movie, every 5 minutes you hearing the old slave master, "Hey, nigga," you think that's gonna change today and what our kids are doing?
No, but what I
don't
think
so.
what I think it will do is it will spark conversation between you and your kids, and hopefully we'll be able to discuss and let them understand and know why this is not a good thing. This is why there's so much pain attached with this word and where we come from. Okay, those are the things, those are the messages that are falling by the wayside that they're not getting today. Okay, and I'm not gonna be out on the street, wearing a sandwich board, marching. Okay, but at the same time, I definitely plan on making sure that my kids understand exactly where they come from, what people fought and died for them. And I'm sorry, there are too many movies that have come out that don't do an effective job of conveying that.
That's true. That's true. And y'all, as you can see, we kind of disagree on this movie.
Little passionately.
Yeah, a little bit of passionate there. So, but we could go all day on back and forth on this, and we may even decide to shoot a little something on the side to continue this discussion.
But
we'd love to
baby,
hear from you too to see what you think about that. But
And the love is still there.
Oh yeah,
The love is still there.
And we still the movie brothers now. That ain't gonna change. But we would not be the movie brothers if we didn't bring you the real on the real.
Absolutely.
That's what we do. So with that said, Kev, I think we can throw some points on this thing and let's go ahead and wrap it.
I'm just gonna be straight up honest with you. Give you the real on the real because that's what we do.
Yeah.
This movie is a 10. And do not be surprised if this movie is not nominated for Best Picture. Steve McQueen is nominated for Best Director. Chiwetel Ejiofor is nominated for Best Actor. And Steve McQueen is nominated for Best Adapted Screenplay from the autobiography of Solomon Northup.
Yeah. I am on the complete opposite end of the spectrum in terms of reviews. I give this movie a 1 out of 10. I thought it was horrible. It was terrible. Uncalled for. Basically,
This man gave baggage claim up.
Can I do my review?
Yes, you can.
Can I do my review?
Do your thing. I'm sorry.
Okay, let me. All right. So, Ejiofor, yeah, he did a great job, and you may see him get nominated for an Oscar. I would give him that. But in terms of the film, it was terrible. It's not necessary. Do not spend your money to go see this movie unless you want to see like Slavery in HD. That's what you get, basically, Slavery in HD. All right.
All right. Ant has said his due. Okay. I have said mine. The only thing that really matters is what you think. Go out and see, or don't see, 12 Years a Slave. Okay. I guarantee you that from my perspective, it will be well worth your time.
All right, y'all. There you have it. Once again, we are the Movie Brothers. I'm Ant. This is Kev.
Yo.
Bringing you nothing but the real on the real. Peace.
Peace.